So today we wanted to talk about the differences between ions and isotopes. You need to know that matter is made out of atoms. It has mass and it occupies some sort of volumes. So it weighs something, right? So matters, the building block of matters is really just atoms. A-T-O-M. Atoms are building blocks of matter. The basic structure of an atom is a nucleus and the orbital shells. Nucleus has proton and neutron. It is what gives rise to the matter's atomic mass. Protons has mass of 1 and neutron has mass of 1. Proton has a charge of positive 1 and neutron's neutral. In the shell, it has the electrons, right? So the electrons negatively charged and their orbits around the nucleus. They're located at the energy shell and each energy has a maximum capacity of electrons. So if we look at it, right, this proton, neutron, and electron are what we call the subatomic particles of an atom. It makes what atoms? So proton is positively charged, neutron is neutral, and electron is negatively charged. Together, it will become a neutral particles because one proton cancels out one electron. Protons is like a name tagger. It tags what that element is. It determines who that atom is. If you have one proton, you are hydrogen. If you have two protons, you are helium. So, depends on how many protons you have, you will be called different names. That's why we call the number of protons the name tagger. It differentiates different kind of elements. No two elements have the same proton numbers. Different elements, different proton numbers. An electron acts as a charge balancer. So it cancels out the charge of protons because proton is positively charged. So electrons will cancel or neutralize the charge of protons. If your charge is not equal to proton, you will then become ion because now you have more electrons or more protons and less electron. You have less electron, then you have more proton, then you're positively charged. You have more electron, then you have more electron, then you're negatively charged. So the idea is that if proton is not equal to electron, ion is formed. So ion is really just charged particles. Electron also determines your electronegativity, which is discussed in the previous video. So neutron will stabilize the nucleus, right? So it is what we call a nuclear stabilizers. It creates isotopes because they're still the same elements. Elements often has the same number of protons, but they will have different number of neutrons. So if you have different number of neutrons, you will be weighed differently. The definition of isotope is elements of the same number of proton, but they have different number of neutrons. So they give rise to different atomic mass. So if you are unstable, you will then become radioactive.